Alright guys, we are cooking some tenderloins right now. Tell me that does not look great. Oh yeah.
Someone who's camping, it looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Alright guys, today I want to talk about the value of reading, right? So, there's this notion out there that only nerds read, and it's just not true, okay? Some of the smartest people in the world read all the time. Now, I know what you're thinking. I hate reading. It's so annoying. I'd rather just watch Netflix, right? Oh, dude, I get that 100%. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's good just to sit back, relax, not have to think about anything, and just mindlessly watch TV. I get it. Sometimes that's nice. But you're not necessarily going to learn anything. You can make an argument for documentaries, but we'll not go down that rabbit trail. The most important thing is that you can learn a ton from reading. All right? Whether that's values or actual just statistical information, factual information that will help you in life. So the question, becomes why read, right? And the whole thing that I've always thought with why read is basically there are all these videos out there that people want to equate to reading. They want to say, well, I watch all these videos on this, and so, I'm just as educated as someone who's read a book. And I hate to burst your bubble, but I just don't think that's true. All right, there are topics out there that you cannot fit into a 15, even 30-minute video that takes up hundreds of pages of a book, right, to get in depth and actually explain the topic. For instance, finances, right? Now you can learn some valuable stuff online about finances. Okay, fair enough, but you're not going to get the big picture and like the nitty-gritty of how to finance in a 15-minute video. It's not going to happen, right? There are books out there that will help you with that kind of stuff. Also, there's something to be said about just learning new information through books. I guarantee you if I asked you what video you watched a month ago, you wouldn't be able to remember, right? Because they're not oriented towards the human mind, all right? They're not meant for people to necessarily remember every bit about it. And I'm not saying when you read a book you're going to know, every line of every page, all right? But what I am saying is that a lot of times when people read books, they actually retain the information and it helps them later down the road. And so there's something to be said, if you're a man, you're able to help others if you have information that they have not seen or read. And also it betters yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of this culture is all about there has to be a tangible goal at the end of everything you do, right? But I would like to argue that there's actually value in learning in and of itself, right? There are certain things you can learn that will better yourself, and that there should be a joy in learning them for the sake of learning them, right? So, for instance, I'm reading a book right now. It's called Fidelity by Wendell Berry, and I'm just about finished. And will I ever be able to really share this with anyone? Probably not. Like, am I going to be able to tell them, I'm not going to try and reiterate the stories to them. This is a fictional book by an author that basically always talking about is different types of fidelity throughout a person's life, right? So there's, fidelity to your friends and fidelity to, your elders, fidelity to, your spouse, all that stuff. And it's good. It's wholesome reading. I get done and I'm happy with what I've done, with what I've read, okay? And so I would just argue that you should try and read. I know it's difficult. I get it. I really do. I know Netflix is giant. I can scroll through YouTube for hours. It's not hard to do. They know exactly what you want to see, and it's just I can spend hours on there. But when I get done spending hours on YouTube, I'm kind of just like, what did I really accomplish here? It's like nothing, okay? Whereas when I get done reading a book like this, I feel better. I feel like I've really accomplished something, and I'm happy with myself. And I don't know I fail in this all the time. I don't read as much as I should. There was a time a year ago that I read a bunch of books in the summer. I learned a lot of stuff in those books. I read a book called The Gulag Archipelago. Awful book. A well-written, honestly a great book, but it was all about, basically the concentration camps in Russia. Dark stuff. But guess what? I learned something. I love this country. All right? And that's something that I took away from that. I love this country. And maybe it has its flaws. Fair enough. But Like, there is stuff that was done to people back then, 1918, that area around there, that is just unspeakable. The detail that was in that book was just incredible. And so, obviously, there's fiction books, there's nonfiction books. And I think both hold value. Probably the nonfiction will help you with tangible goals more than the fiction will. But either way, I think it's good for your brain to initiate. There's a bunch of studies out there that say that there's actually, you open up a different ability to learn when you read that you wouldn't have otherwise, right? So if you don't read like hardly anything at all to try and pick out information from pages of a book, then you actually, there are certain ways that you can't learn unless you do that, which is, it's interesting. You should look them up. But my point is, you should read. I know it sounds boring. Our culture tells you that reading is stupid. I think they're stupid, to be dead honest. Reading is great. It's really good for you. I fail all the time. I don't read. This is my first book of the summer. I've been out of school for a couple months now. I could have knocked out a couple books. And my challenge to you is this. I read for like 20 minutes each night, okay? I'm a relatively busy guy. I've got stuff going on in the day. I got stuff I got to accomplish. Chores, work, all that good stuff. But I recognize, okay, I've got free time at the end of the day. And I could be watching YouTube for an hour, which might be more entertaining in the moment, but not as satisfying in the long run. And so my challenge is get some willpower, put away your phone for a little bit, and pick up a book. I know it's hard to do, but if you can't do that, maybe it's because you're not disciplined enough. That's something to think about. And I'm not claiming that I am disciplined. I mean, sometimes I don't read for 20 minutes a night, and sometimes I do just turn on Netflix and just, watch for hours. Okay, fair enough. But I try, okay? And that's what I encourage you to do. Try and read some. It'll be good for you. Thanks for watching this video of Man in the Making. Please subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you next time.